Okay, the tech just came out from Spectrum Air and he did a service on our air fill, and I had a chance to ask him a couple of questions that we needed to get cleared up. And on the 50/50, yes, it does control the airflow across the sensors, and the sensors check for the temperature of the air, the humidity of the air, and for any carbon monoxide or CO entering the system. CO could be coming in from our exhaust, or if we were too close to the fire, or the wind changed and was getting into the inbound side of the air compressor. So that will alarm if it detects anything out of range. The other item is that he readjusted the pressure for the fill pressure regulator, and he set it at 4,500 pounds, not at 4,700 psi, which I believe it was before. And it got set for that because of the cool down effect. That way, when you filled a bottle and bottle cooled off, it'd be at 4,500 pounds and still full for storage. But what he said is that it's very important not to routinely hot fill bottles. And you're gonna, anytime that you use storage and you have the any of these fill control, storage control, both wide open, and the bottle's at 0 and your storage is at 4,000 psi, let's say, or 4,500, you're going to hot fill that bottle almost all the way up, and the bottle's going to heat up, and that's not the best for our bottles. For routine bottle filling, we want to control by using the fill control knob and not let air fill the bottles no more than 300 psi a minute. When you fill them at no more than 300 psi a minute, the bottle will not heat up like doing the hot fill, and when it does get up to 4,500 psi, you're not going to have that cool down effect. That's the best way to fill bottles. The other item that he wanted to let me know about is that anytime we're storing the high pressure line, go ahead and leave 1,000 pounds in the line itself. So you may have to bleed down the end of the line and then watch this gauge come down to about 1,000 and store it that way. That will keep the line from sweating and getting condensation inside the line. And the other item that I thought was probably the other big safety item was that anytime we're doing confined space, is to bleed off the lines before someone breathes on the air. So for instance, on this high pressure line, we would go ahead on the end and let out air for about 3 minutes and just bleed all the old air that's been sitting in there, so it's replaced by fresh air. And then after you've done that, when you hook up your other air lines to the air manifold for confined space, bleed those lines off also for about 3 minutes at least on those. So that way when someone gets ready to put on the mask, and right before they get to go into the confined space area, they're not breathing stale air. And apparently he was referencing a call somewhere in California that they had a quick rescue of someone they wanted to get out of a tank. Confined space tech quickly put on a mask. They did bleed the lines, and then after 4 or 5 or 6 breaths, the confined space tech passed out. So just wanted to relay that. This is a video that kind of taken place at a training balloon. Thank you very much.